Let's see, we need one kitchen. Check. And some vegetables. Okay. And some meat. And some ready-to-go beans in a glass jar. Yep. What else? Oh, cook. Gary Murphy. On a recent February afternoon, Ann Arbor resident Gary Murphy invited Roberta Knox and video producer John Heider to join him in his kitchen to watch as he prepared the traditional French peasant dish, cassoulet.
And since we're cooking the goose, as Julia Child said, don't forget the goose to cook.
Cassoulet is a classic slow-cooked French dish that is usually made in midwinter with ingredients from the fall's harvest. It's best prepared in a deep copper pot and contains carrots, onions, leeks, celery, parsley, garlic, tomato sauce, beans, and meat. A lot of meat, like pork, lamb, bacon, and sausage. And the main meat of the dish is, well, fowl, or goose, and preferably a wild bird like the Canada goose Murphy had taken with a French shotgun earlier in the winter.
The one closest to you first.
So after the gun show, Murphy tells us about the star of the cassoulet, the goose.
This has been marinated in soy sauce and black pepper and maple syrup. You cook it in a way that it's not tough to eat, but most people don't like it because you cook it.
The process begins with browning the goose over a stove.
Canada friend.
As the goose cooks, Murphy begins to work on chopping up the vegetables.
This is where drinking wine makes this more of an adventure. The chopping part. Into your, when you're going to brown it, into your pan. Unfortunately, you know, the thing about the cassoulet, it's sort of the archetypical, what do they call it? The archetypical peasant dish. Does that make us peasant architects? This is lamb. I don't understand.
Then the other meat is slowly added to the copper pan with its olive oil and butter, beginning with some lamb.
Local anywhere near there, or something like that.
Before adding the pork shoulder, Gary checks on the status of the browning goose. You want it almost a bit beyond raw inside, but still cooked enough.
Steak, or at least you're not allowed to call, you know, your one of my favorite things to put into the cassoulet, I think they've already eaten them all, is squirrel. There's nothing quite as good as about 2 squirrels cooked in a cassoulet for a couple hours.
Aren't there some squirrels just outside?
We can go get one right now. While cooking the rest of this. Yeah, burning big hunks of meat, pretty dramatic stuff, isn't it?
In preparing the meat for the cassoulet, Murphy cuts ice cube-sized chunks of pork, lamb, and sausage, which will become wonderfully tenderized during the slow cooking process.
In there like this.
Gary recommends using as garlicky as possible a sausage, and now shows us how to cut against the grain of the goose breast to keep it as tender and flavorful as possible.
Is that called a specific thing?
This was found at Property Disposition for $5.
Did that at one time hold medical specimens or something? Or
we don't want to know what this was used for.
Here, Murphy begins stacking the cassoulet in his glass pot, beginning with smoked bacon, and then his secret weapon, store-bought beans.
You can't make beans yourself as good as these. Don't tell anybody in France. Okay, layer of beans. Then, a layer of geese. We don't want them to be lonely. A layer of pork shoulder and lamb. Then the vegetable layer. Onions, carrots, celery. Those pesky leeks. the rest of the goose, including the heart. We'll put in the middle, just like in real life.
And so the cooking process begins to wind down, and we see the art of the cassoulet made abundantly clear by the glass container. A layered approach of meat and vegetables, which will be slow cooked to perfection.
Forgotten, of course, is the salt and pepper. Carry back salt from France. Well, you know, goose.
But there's still one key ingredient missing: goose stock, which Murphy will add to the pot along with some wine from the deglazed pan.
Well, it's going to be just perfect. This should cook for about 4 hours. Would you watch where you're going?
I'm trying to shoot a movie here.
$350 for 3 hours.
A day later, after the cassoulet had cooked for 3 hours, Gary invited a few of his friends and fellow gourmands over to indulge in the classic French dish.
Coffee and my newspaper.
What do you do when you hunt? You leave the stuff in your freezer all winter and let it dry out and then throw it away or feed it to the dogs? No. And that's the beauty of this, is that you can take what is almost an impossible animal to make. It tastes good if it's weighs 18 pounds and it's 17 years old. You can take it and make it into something absolutely glorious. I heartily recommend that you eat until it hurts. Money. And the first thing I do is I cut the cuff on a screen. Here they come. Here they come. There they go!
It's not very good.
That sounds more like goose farts. That's my goose retriever. That's a Chesapeake Bay retriever. Don't scare the geese. That's our job.
Of course, a gun in close proximity to alcohol is always, that's a good thing.
Yeah, I know. We should be smoking cigars.
That's the Michigan
You know,
way,
because
isn't it?
it could be a full ATF thing, you know, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms.